Now it's a wrap to the first round of the Uganda Premier League, but there are a few pointers to discuss. Not to forget, two goalkeepers for the Uganda Cranes who are in North Africa for the CAF Champions League engagements. We'll as well be discussing boxing, where Anthony Joshua takes on Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia on Sunday. Not to forget, in the English Premier League, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fate could be decided in the Manchester Derby at the Etihad Stadium this weekend. And in the UEFA Champions League, Group E, F, G and H, there is some matters to sort on match day number 6. Welcome to the Just Darren Show, powered by Betway.
Betway's Sport to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry is free, and if the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
Now, Vipers Sports Club is setting the pace in the Uganda Premier League at the halfway mark. After 15 games that have been played, 36 points on board. And not to forget that they did secure points through the boardroom from that result against Maroons, implying that at 36 points, they have a 4-point cushion heading into the second round. And heading into the break, KCC had to fight to cut that gap. Of course, the defending champions now in second place after responding to a 2-1 loss against Mbarara City, with a 4-1 victory over Sports Club Villa, and again 4 more goals as they beat Proline Football Club early this week, implying that 8 goals in the last 180 minutes thrust Mike Mutebi's unit to second place with now 32 points on board, 4 points behind Vipers. Of course, there are so many talking points to discuss, including the fact that Vipers at the summit, out of the 15 matches they played, they managed 10 clean sheets. Now that implies a beautiful defensive record. Not to forget on the other side that for KCCA, they had 3 defeats split across the first round, and it is something that Mike Mutebi will want to work on. With the fact that they are out of continental club football, it implies that in the last 15 matches of the season, there will perhaps be some sanity for the Lugogo-based club. Not to forget that Vipers seems to be pretty strong as we speak. Of course, the side sponsored by Betway, that is Express Football Club, finishing the first round with 18 points from 15 games. The challenges for George Simogari's unit have been with the defensive pattern, where they've conceded 23 times. And if you look at the worst defense in the league so far, or the defense that has leaked the most goals so far, it's leaked 25 goals, implying that Express have got to pull up their socks when it gets to the second round. Of course, there are so many other pointers to discuss, including for Express, the men that have carried the headlines, Disan Galiwango, talking of Frank Senyondo, as well as Frank Kalanda, the players that have carried Express on the back thus far up to this stage. My first round player of the season is none other than Alan Okello. He's been quite impressive, scoring the important goals for KCCA, as well as delivering those powerful strikes at Lugogo and away from home. Of course, don't forget that you can bet on all the other African leagues on the continent, including the FUFA Big League, when the odds are available on www.betway.ug. Now let's talk the CAF Champions League, because the group stage action got underway last weekend. Of course, 5 Ugandans have their clubs on the continent in the race for the lucrative dimes that are on offer by CAF. Of course, the 2 goalkeepers, Salim Jamal of Al Hilal and Dennis Onyang of Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa. Defender, that is Murshid Jacob, who plays for Wydad Casablanca in Morocco. Tipi Mazembe's left back, that is Joseph Ochaya, and Umar Kasumba, the striker at Zesco United. Now, of course, to begin with, on Friday, Al Hilal have already made the trip, and they'll be taking on the Egyptian side, that is Al Ahly, who are the record champions in the CAF Champions League. In Group B, Hilal managed to win the first group game, winning 2-1 against the side that is FC Platinum from Zimbabwe. But in that particular encounter, the Ugandan goalkeeper Salim Jamal played 90 minutes. He, however, did face some racial abuses after the mistake that he made when the goal by Neva Tigere got in, the free kick that he did score 9 minutes from time. Hilal lived on the tenterhooks until when they managed to secure the 3 points. They do take on Al Ahly, very difficult encounter that they'll be playing in Cairo. And You can bet on this one on www.betway.ug in Group B. Speaking of the other action in Group A, a side that is Zesco United do take on TP Mazembe on Saturday in Group A. Mazembe's Joseph Ochaya didn't play and wasn't in the final 18 in the match day one fixture against Zamalek, where they managed to win 3-0, and actually that led to the sacking of the former Uganda Cranes coach Milutin Micho Sredojevic. But Umar Kasumba, perhaps he should be getting some time at the front line for Zesco United in Ndola on Saturday. In Group C, we'll talk about the other Ugandan goalkeeper, that is Dennis Onyango. He as well made a trip to North Africa. He didn't play on match day one, the match that Mamelodi Sundowns had at home, where they managed to win. This time round, Onyango still made the trip to North Africa, and he recently posted a picture, a short video on Instagram stories, but there's expectation that he could get some playing time probably this time round with the fixture that Mamelodi Sundowns do have away against Wydad Casablanca. Casablanca, of course, they do not have Morsi Juko yet, but he was expected to play, but he's been struggling with injury as we speak. An injury that he did pick after, as the Cranes were preparing to take on Malawi in the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. You can't bet on the CAF Champions League. My pick is Mamelodi Sundowns could probably go in there and try and pick a result. However, Wydad Casablanca remain the favorites to take the 3 points. Also, Zesco United may be favorites at home, but TP Mazembe look to be a pretty strong unit, keen on adding on to their silverware on the continent. Odds are available, including the CAF Confederation Cup, on www.betway.ug.
We're giving you the chance to boost your multi-bet winnings by up to 100%. To activate your boost, create your bet slip, check your boost, and place your bet. It's that simple. The more selections you add, the bigger your boost. Visit Betway online now. Betway, for the love of the game.
Now, until December the 31st on www.betway.ug, you can get your wish list met, because there is a lot to give away, courtesy of Betway Uganda, and it is a promo that's running until the end of the year. For as long as you bet, each bet that you take on, it enters you into a draw to win smartphones, shopping vouchers, quite a number of giveaways that Betway has on offer. And on Twitter and Facebook, the hashtag is Betway Gabude, Betway Squad, Betway Daily. For as long as you visit the site www.betway.ug, you could be winning yourself something. Every week, there will be weekly winners as the promotion does go on. Betway giving back to the loyal customer, because Betway, for the love of the game. Now, we'll move on to boxing, because 2 weeks ago, we were discussing the big bout between Deontay Wilder, who actually went on to defeat Ruiz in the 7th round, courtesy of a technical knockout. Now, this is the same result that Andy Ruiz Jr. got back in June against Anthony Joshua of Great Britain, and now AJ will be taking on the same opponent in a rematch in Saudi Arabia this weekend. On Sunday, it will be the pick of the bouts when both fighters get to the ring once again in Saudi Arabia as they battle for the WBA, IBF, RBO and WBO titles that will be on offer. All those 4 belts are available, as Anthony Joshua, who has had 23 bouts, lost 122 by KO, will be 121 by KO, will be taking on Ruiz, the American, who's actually had 33 fights, 22 of those being KOs with 1 defeat as we speak. It is a bout that has carried headlines over the last 1 month. Of course, especially in the UK, even if Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, had a bout 2 weeks ago. And while Deontay will be taking on Tyson Fury, it is rumored that whoever wins between those two could be lined up to take on the winner between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr., who won in the 7th round with a technical knockout. Now, on www.betway.ug, the odds are already available. You just select boxing, get to the site, and be sure to bet on either Anthony Joshua, whose odd is at 1.40, or the man that is Andy Ruiz Jr., whose odd is at 2.60. Of course, some of the undercards as well available on www.betway.ug, including Dillian White who has got his bout, the odd at 1.02. He versus the opponent who comes in from Poland, and that is Watch Marias with his odd at 8.17. You can't bet on the boxing. Not to forget that there is T20 cricket this weekend where India does take on the West Indies. You can as well bet on that one, and so many other different disciplines of sport, all available on www.betway.ug. Do not go far away, because when we return, we'll be discussing the Manchester derby that comes up on Saturday in the English Premier League.
Jimmy really likes hard work. Really. It's how he gets better at what he does. It's how he learns. It's how he impresses people. And it's how he knows United are worth it this weekend at 3.2. Oh yes, Jimmy really likes hard work. Because hard work sometimes pays off.
Now, for as long as the Premier League season does go on, there is nothing guaranteed for any team, probably except Liverpool, because they already hit the 40-point mark, and some teams will take 2 or 3 more match days to cross that gap. As we speak, Liverpool is still top of the table, and the gap between them and the defending champions grew to 11 points last weekend after Liverpool went on and stunned Brighton at Anfield to win 2-1, while Manchester City went on to draw with Newcastle 2-2. Of course, a lot of water has gone under the bridge, and this weekend, Manchester City has got a tough nut to crack because they do host Manchester United in the peak of the fixtures. The Manchester derby coming up as the late night kickoff on Saturday. United, of course, won here 2 seasons ago with Paul Pogba striking twice in the second half that delayed City's title wait. And this time round, as we speak, Manchester City has dropped points in 5 games, 2 draws and 3 defeats, and for Pep Guardiola, this is an unacceptable scorecard. It implies that City will take everything serious, even in a time where Sergio Aguero, who scored most goals for them, has been struggling with a bit of injury. Gabriel Jesus managed to get a brace as they beat Burnley 4-1 in midweek. On the other hand, for Manchester United, this could be the defining week for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like it or not, after taking on Jose Mourinho, whom he replaced close to a year ago at Old Trafford, now he does visit the Etihad, a place where Manchester United has not had a smile for a recent while. Manchester City are the defending champions. Any more points they drop does guarantee Liverpool a further grip at the summit. Now, they wouldn't want that to happen, especially against a rival that at one point called them the noisy neighbours. Manchester City are the favourites on www.betway.ug. The odd for them to win is at 1.30, and that for Manchester United is at 9.59 on www.betway.ug. How big a chance does United have to win? In my view, I think they will need Paul Pogba, Scott McTominay in that midfield. They'll need to defend a little better because in the last 25 games, well, it's been pretty difficult for United to have clean sheet.
So it's ended 2-1 to Manchester United at Old Trafford today. Big result for Man United. Lots of pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously heading into this match. So an important shot in the arm against his predecessor Jose Mourinho. There was a nice reception for Jose here, but at the end of the day it was Ole's name that was ringing around Old Trafford at the end. Thanks to a performance that brought a fully deserved 3 points. I was expecting a little bit more from Spurs, to be honest, but Man United had a bit between their teeth from the outset. Marcus Rashford scored 6 minutes in and could have easily had a couple more before half-time, was it not for Paulo Gazzaniga, who messed up for the opening goal, but produced some other great saves, including tipping a Rashford strike onto the bar. Tottenham levelled through a superb Dele Alli touch and strike, but they were very fortunate, and Moussa Sissoko's clumsy challenge on Rashford just moments into the second half allowed Rashford the chance to score from the spot. United kind of played smart from that point, just sat back and waited really for Tottenham. They didn't really threaten much, and Jose Mourinho wasn't too happy with the side afterwards. The end of the 3-match winning start for Jose and for Man United, an important shot in the arm ahead of the trip to Manchester City on Saturday. The derby is obviously a big occasion, and United have done all right there in recent years, but it's a big test for Solskjaer's side once again. Obviously, Burnley were blown away by Man City last night, and with the way Liverpool are steamrolling sides at the moment, City can't afford to let any more points drop. It'll be a fascinating watch as always. I'm sure all eyes will be on the Etihad Stadium on Saturday afternoon.
In the other games to discuss at the weekend, Chelsea do take on Everton. With Everton, probably this will be as well the key week for the coach, that is Marco Silva. He could be sacked at the end of this week. That's my gut feeling. Only if Chelsea put the last nail in the coffin this weekend. The odd for Chelsea to win is at 2.05 and for Everton is at 3.41. The other games to talk about include Tottenham Hotspur. After visiting Old Trafford, Jose Mourinho is back at home. They do host Burnley on Saturday. The odd for Spurs to win is at 1.43. Manchester City, I've told you, are my favourites to beat Manchester United. Leicester City will be away taking on Aston Villa on Sunday, with Aston Villa having a tough task to stop the league top scorer Jamie Vardy. I expect a draw between Norwich City and Sheffield, even if Sheffield have been a better defensive unit. And on Monday night, West Ham United will be hosting Arsenal. It is not yet, the honeymoon is already over for Freddie Ljungberg, the coach for Arsenal, after taking on Brighton on Thursday night. Now a trip in London to West Ham. It doesn't get any better. Arsenal have got to pick up the points. They've got to ride fast if they are to secure European club football next season. You can bet on all the English Premier League games on www.betway.ug. In this past game, by the way, I think Hurricane could get back onto the score sheet, and even more from Son Heung-min, and probably an assist from Dele Alli. You could look out for that bet for anytime goal scorer on www.betway.ug. We'll be back with the Italian Serie A.
Betway's Fortress Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry is free, and if the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
Now let's talk the Italian Serie A, because Inter Milan currently leads the charts with 37 points on board after 14 games that they've played, and that came after last weekend Inter beat Spal by 2-1, while on the other hand Juventus, who are the defending champions, went on to draw with Sassuolo 2-2. And as we speak, a point separates both teams, with Inter hoping to keep top of the charts. Former coach for Juventus, Antonio Conte, is their gaffer, and he insists that they do not need to have any sorts of complacency if they are to remain top of the charts. And this weekend, on Friday night at San Siro, it is Inter Milan up against AS Roma. Roma, who are in 5th place with 28 points on board. As things stand, Inter have majorly relied on the striking partnership between Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez, with Lukaku having 10 goals to his name and Martinez on 8. For Conte, he would love, of course, to bank on these two together with the midfield that is mixed with youth and experience. And of course, speaking of players like Matteo Politano, Stefano Sensi, who is actually now ruled out of this particular encounter, hopefully to return next weekend. And the coach Conte hoping that he can bank on this particular unit to go on and pick the 3 points at home. And that means that by the time Juventus plays Lazio, who are in 3rd place on 30 points, well, Inter may have grown the gap to 4 points as we speak. For the odd on www.betway.ug for Inter to win at home is at 1.91, and that for AS Roma at 3.81. Speaking of the other encounter on Saturday between Juventus, who do take on Lazio, the odd for Juventus to win is at 2.43 away from home at the Stadio Olimpico, and that for Lazio at 2.88. You can bet on both of these fixtures. Key statistic I'll tell you about this is Juventus, they've considered the fewest number of goals in the season so far in the Italian Serie A, only 12, while on the other hand for Lazio, they've been the highest scoring side so far. 33 goals to their name, 9 assists from Luis Alberto, and the league's top scorer is as well from Lazio, Ciro Immobile, with 17 goals to his name. Do not forget that for AS Roma in the other encounter against Inter Milan, he's managed 6 assists to his name, Lorenzo Pellegrini, and he's the man that AS Roma will hope to rely on, together with names like Justin Kluivert and Henrik Mkhitaryan formerly of Arsenal and Manchester United. Now, still talking Inter Milan, they've got quite a busy spell ahead, because on Tuesday night in Group F, they will have to as well try and battle the mathematics, because they do host Barcelona in a tricky encounter. They've got to pick a result that should match the other result that Borussia Dortmund will have picked against Slavia Prague. Inter is tied on 7 points with Borussia Dortmund in Group F after 5 matches that have been played, and Inter is in second place by virtue of the head-to-head record. When Inter visited Dortmund managed to win by 3-2, and when Inter managed to take on Dortmund at home, they managed to win by 2-0, implying that Inter has got a better head-to-head record. However, they do host Barcelona, who are already through on 11 points, but they must match the result that Borussia Dortmund will have picked, or else Dortmund could be through if they get a superior result that Inter will have gotten. Of course, there are so many permutations in the UEFA Champions League. The odd for Inter to win at home against Barcelona is at 1.66, and that for Barcelona at 4.79. And in the other encounter between the side that is Borussia Dortmund and Slavia Prague at the Signal Iduna Park, with Dortmund expected to win, the odd is at 1.26. It implies if Dortmund wins, Inter as well must win to progress to the round of last 16 of the competition. The other fixtures to talk about, also in Group E, there is that one between Liverpool, who do visit Red Bull Salzburg, with Liverpool hoping that they can pick a result and be able to advance in their group. Liverpool is top of that group with 10 points, Napoli on 9, and the side that is Red Bull Salzburg, they are not actually far away in this particular group as well, with 7 points on board so far that they do have, meaning that Liverpool only needs a point in this encounter to win. The odd for Liverpool to win is at 1.86, and for Red Bull Salzburg, who've been flying in the goals, 16 goals to their name. Of course, their youthful striker Haaland has scored more of those, with their odd at 3.68. The previous encounter between these two teams had Liverpool win 4-3 at Anfield, with Sadio Mane, who came fourth in the charts of the Ballon d'Or early this week, getting a brace as they managed to win that particular encounter. The other fixture to look out for is Napoli, who do host Genk in Group E, the odd at 1.17, and for Genk to win, it is at 14.82. In the other fixtures to look out for, they include in Group G, Olympic Lyon, who do take on Leipzig. As well, there is a race in that one, with the winner being able to take one of the positions available. Benfica do take on Genk, with Benfica favourites at home to win at 2.20. The last group to look out for is Group H, that as well has got permutations: Ajax on 10 points, Chelsea on 8, Valencia on 8. Chelsea do host Lille, Ajax do take on Valencia, and Chelsea are favourites to beat Lille at home, with their previous encounters having goals and seeing them drop points. Frank Lampard will have to see his unit get back to winning ways as well on the continent. You can bet on the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as Thursday. Odds available on www.betway.ug. Special thanks for watching the Just Darren Show. Don't forget that we'll be back here. Do not forget the Betway Gavude. The Betway wish list is already available on the site. It is a time to give away. It is a time to give back to the loyal customers of Betway. And as well, special thanks for catching the Just Darren Show once again. Just don't forget, it's Just Darren.